7. Array. The Revit Array tool is a feature used to create multiple copies of selected elements or components in a linear or radial arrangement. The linear array distributes a specified number of objects along a direction. To adjust the distance between objects, we can either set a distance between the first and second objects and keep that same distance for the rest, or we can establish the distance between the first and last objects and evenly distribute the rest of the objects in between. The radial array operates similarly, but instead of focusing on distance, we specify an angle between the first and second objects or between the first and last objects to distribute the objects. In the Array Options bar, there are two buttons on the left to choose between the linear and the radial array. The number indicates the overall number of arrayed objects. To perform an array, we need to specify a distance. As explained, this distance can be between the first and the second or the first and the last object. The Move to Second or Last option is to set this function. Now, let's explain each type of array separately. Linear array. Start by selecting the element or components you want to replicate in a linear way. Then select the Array tool and ensure Linear is selected in the Options bar. Specify the total number of instances or copies in the Number field. Then, having Last selected, click to specify the base point. Then, with the second click, you can specify the location of the last component. Once the array is accomplished, a number representing the array's total number appears above the objects. Change it if you need to update the total number. This number can be adjusted at any time by selecting any of the arrayed objects. If second was selected in the options bar, the distance between the first and second clicks would determine the distance between the first and the second objects, and the rest of the arrayed objects would be placed after the second one. Radial array. To do a radial array, select the object first, then select the Array tool, and then choose Radial in the Options bar. The Options bar will turn into some settings similar to the Rotation tool. Set the number. Then, specify the center of rotation by using the Place tool or dragging the center point to the desired location. Having last selected, specify the rotation angle with 2 clicks at different points. The duplicated components will reside within the specified angle. If we had the second selected, the angle would determine the distance between the first and second components. At the end, don't forget that you can select any of the arrayed objects and update their number by changing this figure. If you're finding this video helpful, check out RevitGamers.com. Our courses go beyond the basics, bringing Revit to life with hundreds of dynamic visuals and animations that make complex concepts feel easy. This unique training approach is designed to speed up your learning and make BEAM adoption smoother than ever. Every day, more students and companies are joining Revit Gamers Club to elevate their Revit skills. Don't miss out. Head to RevitGamers.com and see how Revit training can be fun, visual, and incredibly effective. 8. Scale. The Revit Scale tool lets users resize or scale selected elements proportionally. It is important to note that to resize many elements in Revit, we need to change the object's parameters. For example, to scale a door or window, the Scale tool is unavailable and grayed out. Instead, we can use doors and windows properties and then change their width and height parameter values. To use the Scale tool, select the object and then click on the scale. If you know how big or small you want the object to become, having numerical selected in the Modify tab, type the scale value in the Scale field. In the previous versions of Revit, these settings were located in the Options bar. Then, with a single click, specify the base point of the scale. The selected object will be scaled against this base point. It must be noted that we have only scaled the distance between the walls, while their thickness remained unchanged. The reason is that the wall thickness can only be changed using the wall properties. If the scale amount is uncertain, select Graphical and specify the scale value manually with 3 clicks. To do so, select the object, select the Scale tool, have Graphical selected, and then specify the base point with your first click. With your second click, specify another corner of the object, and finally, make a third click to determine how large or small you want the object to become.